Today on FilmRiot, we're giving 5 tips for C-stands and building this because we're adults and we do what we want. Why is that funny?
You said we're adults.
Yeah, all right, fair enough.
Oh, man.
Welcome to FilmRiot, the show that takes the mystery out of the effects and techniques. One of some of your favorite Hollywood films. I'm your host, Ryan Connolly. And C-stands are like faithful friends that are underrated and underappreciated.
I'm a faithful friend.
You don't have any friends.
Wow.
C-stands can be easily overlooked as something that's not as important as it really is. So in case you don't know or forgot, I'm going to give you 5 tips to remind you how incredibly powerful C-stands really are. Consider yourself reminded. Jumping right in with tip number 1, it's traveling with C-stands. Since we don't have a proper grip truck of our own, the way that we travel with ours is by first putting mats down on the floor of our car. You can use yoga mats or anything to keep the wear and tear off your vehicular transportation device. We can then stack them on top of each other, placing sandbags at the top and on the legs of the C-stands to keep them from having any unwanted mosh pits. Once you arrive on set, you're going to want to remove those C-stands, and here's a tip within a tip. When you pick up a C-stand, you'll want to grab them from the outside of the arm, not in between. Otherwise, you're gonna pinch your fingers, causing unwanted bodily harm.
Hey, buddy! Need a stand? Uh-oh. Shouldn't do it. Squish! Ow-wee!
Tip 2 is staging them. This is when you're prepping them for the coming day. You'll pop the legs into their locked positions. The highest leg should always be in the middle, the second highest leg on the right, with the lowest leg on the left. And now here's where a lot of people go wrong, and this can happen if they assemble the C-stand backwards. They'll lock the arm/grip head on the left side, which is no good. The grip head/arm should always be on the right side. The reason for this is if you have something on the arm and that head is left a little bit loose and begins to tilt forward, it will automatically tighten itself since it's going righty-tighty, not lefty-loosey.
You know what I'm saying.
What are you saying?
I don't know.
You're a little loose? Always rig to the right is a phrase that you'll hear from grips referring to anything with a gobo-style head like this. If you don't, it'll be a dead giveaway to season crew members that you don't really know what you're doing. And another thing to keep in mind is that all of the weight should be over the highest leg. If it's over the lowest leg, a simple gust of wind can do some damage, and then everyone will hate you. Everyone. Tip number 3 is bagging it, which is not what you think it is.
Ew.
You'll always want to bag the top leg, and you don't want the bag touching the ground. And in case you need more than one bag, because it's always better to be safe than sorry, you'll want to place a second bag like this. And of course, carrying a C-stand and sandbag can be quite the marriage if done right. Tip number 4 is setting the flag. Once you find the hole, you lock it in tight and raise to your liking.
Ooh, that's dark eyes.
Remember, always rig on the right no matter what you're setting. Tip number 5 is safety first.
Don't pour gasoline all over yourself. Safety first.
Whoa, throwback.
Being a grip involves keeping the set safe, and one way to keep faces intact is by throwing a tennis ball on the end of an arm if you ever have to undersling something. If you don't have a tennis ball, an empty bottle works as well. Also, to keep floors safe and sound, toss a tennis ball on each leg. If you're out of tennis balls, you can easily make a tape ball, which will work in its place. The location owner will definitely appreciate you saving their floors, and as we always say, you always want to leave your location better than you found it. But now, let's get to some sponsor loving, and then we'll build a bounce. If you're a budding filmmaker, entrepreneur, or innovator, domain.com is the place to go when that next idea hits you. I know you've heard me say that the list of available domain extensions is growing, but you now have the opportunity to name your site and build your brands in ways that was never before possible. You can choose from a growing list of 400 plus domain name extensions like .com, .org, .design, and .club. And to give you some loving, they're giving you 25% off their already affordable prices when you get domain names, web hosting, and email. Just use the coupon code FilmRiot at domain.com's checkout. And when you think domain names, think domain.com.
Logo.
Welcome back. There's a few types of bounce boards that you'll see on set. The standard square, usually in 4x4 size, and some smaller. The smallest being called pizza box. 1 second. It's good pizza. Cheers. A pizza box on set is much like it sounds, this guy right here. And secondly, we have the stop sign, usually a 4x4 size as well. If you throw up a square bounce and look into the subject's eyes, you'll see the square reflection. With an octagon or circle shape, it's a lot less obvious in the reflection of the actor's eye and a little sexier. And if you don't have a bounce board, I mean, you could always get creative. Is that science?
That's science.
That's science. To build this bad boy, you need a styrofoam board, a box cutter, tape measures, and some gaff tape. You can get an 8-foot by 4-foot slab of styrofoam from Lowe's or Home Depot for about $11. You can use a Sharpie to dial in your measurements for the cut, then use a box cutter to shape your stop sign. Then you're gonna always wanna border this type of bounce with some gaff tape. Then one thing that I've never done before but learned from Justin is to throw a piece of Coroplast, which you can get at Lowe's or Home Depot for cheap. You're gonna put this on either side of the bounce to protect the foam for when you throw it into something like a Quacker clamp, which is this guy right here. You could also use cardboard if you don't have Coroplast. And if you want to see a more detailed build of this kind of bounce, watch this episode that we did right here. A great example of the power of a simple bounce board is in the movie The Gray starring Liam Neeson. Toward the end of the movie, there's a slight push in on him where there's some heavy shadows under his eyes. Then they cut away to a flashback, and when they cut back to his close-up, there's a bounce that has been added to the shot, enhancing his eyes, which is the most important thing in that particular shot. If you compare the two shots, there's a pretty distinct difference. So never underestimate the power of a bounce. Even the Neesons needs it sometimes. But that's it, a super easy way to make a very useful tool to have in your filmmaker kit. And if you want to do the Twitter thing, you're welcome to do so right here, and we'll talk and stuff. But I'll see you guys next time when all I want is cranberry juice, but some douchebag won't leave me alone.
Stunning all on TV, bad yellow bone that I metal in, then it's right back to the money like I never been. We getting